Okay, this is my Tronxy X5S, or what is left after demounting most of the important things. What I want to do today, I want to enlarge the printer. Okay, before we come to the enlargement in detail of the X and Y dimensions, let me clarify a few things because there's some confusion in the video about a few dimensions. So the original plan was to increase the size by 70 millimeters for X and Y, both directions. But what it turned out that the extrusions that I ordered have a wrong slot, so these are not V slots, so I have to shrink a bit the size of the whole build. So what I did is, the original Tronxy comes with 530 millimeters front, back, top button, so 4 530 millimeter 20 by 20 extrusions. I put that to the side and I ordered new 600 millimeter ones that I want to put at the front. But I need to use one of the 530 instead of the 460 millimeter here for the X rail, and that's why I had to cut the new ones, so the 4 times 600 millimeters, and the ones I put to the side, the 530 ones, I cut down 24 millimeters. That's why I was not able to increase the size of the print bed by 70 millimeters and X and Y. So I ended up by in the X direction by 400 millimeters and the Y direction by 415 millimeters at the end. And that is why I did not end up with 420 in both directions. X-axis maximum 400. So the Y-axis starting by -5. And it's going to a maximum of 410. As you could see now, it's moving down to 840. So take that in mind during the video that I show you. The figures are in the video and that's going on is a bit bigger than what is actually installed now. Get 70 millimeter in X and get 70 millimeter also in the Y direction. For that I already bought these maker rails. As you can see, standard maker rails, 600 millimeter, where I already put the holes, the mounts for the end holes in it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm demounting a bit of the other stuff, and then we only need 4 maker rails for that, because what I want to do, the front and back maker rails I want to put to the side. That gives me 70 millimeters back or on the side, and I want to mount the 600 maker rails I want to put front and back. So 4 maker rails, very cheap for the enlargement. 4 maker rails make it for 70 millimeters in X and 70 millimeters in Y. So let's start with it. First we demount a few of the other parts that we do not need now. So this is the extrusion. We demount the PSU. With a MOSFET. So we demount, not needed, but it's a bit hindering. So now we have the Tronxy frame, and now we start by demounting certain parts like the front and back and the side rails and use it. If I'm starting from the top, And then we need to do the bottom part and need to demount first the heat bed, the C-axis. Okay, let's go for it. Good. By the way, the belts are long enough. They come with the standard Tronxy because they are 20 centimeters, 200 millimeters more than needed, and that is serving us the 70 millimeters X and 70 millimeters Y is enough. By the way, the version I have is the version 02 that already comes with better gantries. Okay, all screws are demounted, so we can now get it off. Demount this. Put one here. So these two and the two on the bottom we do not need anymore. We exchange them by the longer extrusions, by the 530 extrusions, and take, as said, these extrusions away to the side. Okay, now we have to demount the C-axis. Take the lead screws away. For 60, and I want to exchange them by 900 millimeter lead screws. Same as then with the rods. Okay, but for now, today we only want to exchange it, or we want to extend the X and the Y axis. Two, three, four, two. Good. So that's basically the frame as we know it. What we now have to do before we go ahead, there are these two holes that hold the rods on the shorter extrusions, on the shorter maker rails, and since we now want to do want to use, instead of the 460, the 530 rails from the front and back, we have to do now the same holes here into the 530 rods, 530 maker rails. Okay, that's what I want to do in a minute, but for that I need to go to my workshop. Okay. Okay, that's it. Okay, when going to the workshop I encountered one fundamental issue, and that is about the maker rail. If you take a look at my new maker rail, I mean it's hard to see that the slot is a bit different than the slot from the Tronxy original maker rails. That's the reason why I cannot use that for the gantries, for the wheels of the gantries. That is not possible. So I need to restructure the whole thing. That means I need to take one 430 for the Y rail, so for the hot end to move, and thus I need one of my silver ones, my new maker rails, put to the ground, I mean to the side, and take one of the black ones for the X. And that the issue there is that that these are 530, and I have to then shrink my extension of the Y side down to that size that the 430 can make it. And so I have to cut, unfortunately, 24 millimeters away from my X side. So what I have at the end is I get in the Y side. Sorry, for the Y I'm now getting not 70 millimeters plus, but only 56 plus. While for the X I still have the 70 plus. Okay, but now. Try to assemble it. Just one hint for you. These are the holes I need to mount for the rods, and it's easiest if you take the maker rail, put the old maker rail, the 460 that we don't no longer use it, and put it together and drill with a 4.1 millimeter drill through the whole stack. That makes it easiest. Okay? Okay, now we're starting with the assembly. These are now our 4 side maker rails. This is now the 4 front maker rails. As said, no longer 600, but now 576. And these are the original, the original 20 by 40 extrusions. So now we assemble it back as it was before. Okay, here we are with the first part of the frame. As you can see, and that is the downside, I had to use the new maker rail, one of the new maker rails for the side, and not as originally planned, just for the X gantry moves, but this is not possible because of the different profile of the different space between here. Okay, going forward with the build. This is the machine after implementing the rods and the lead screws. Okay, the next thing is about the filament feeder. So as you know, the filament feeder was mounted somewhere here originally, and now since the Boden would not be long enough for the enlarged frame, we have to change that one. So as you can see here, if I go this way, you see the Boden would be not long enough. My favorite position would be somewhere here in the middle, somewhere over here. You see that's still long enough, that's fine. The only thing I need to make sure that it is not conflicting with the rod, so maybe I have to change that somehow, but that could work. And then the filament would come from the top, as I anyhow mounted a filament spool above for my old A-net A8. So this could work. Let's try it out. As you can see, The heat bed is now installed, as well as some other parts. And as you also can see, there are some spacers, some adapters required because of the increased size. Also here there is a little adapter required to have the cable chain for the heat bed mounted correctly. Now we start to install the belts.